I had never had a baby before, so I was
Mm-hmm.
nervous, and I had 3 other kids to take care of on top of recovering from a C-section at 20 years old. And I remember one night, it was 5 days after my C-section. And I was begging him, please let my mama come over in the morning when you leave for work about 6 o'clock. I'm so tired. I just had a C-section 5 days ago. And he wanted me as soon as I came home from the hospital to start back doing laundry, cooking, cleaning, everything. I had to start doing all that 5 days after having a C-section. Well, I woke up about 5 o'clock in the morning because he was going to work at 6. And I was crying. I was hurting. I was tired. I said, can my mom please come over? And he cussed me like a dog. And I remember sitting there crying, called me a bunch of horrible names, and he got his 22 off the dresser. He had a small 22 pistol. He kept it on the dresser. And I ran into the living area, which was outside of our bedroom, and I put the baby in her little bassinet thing. I put her in there, and I tried locking the door because it had an outside lock, and I tried locking it into the bedroom so he couldn't get into the living room, and he kicked the door down, and it almost landed on my baby while she's in her little bassinet. So he runs over there to me in the living room, and he gets his 22 and he puts it to my temple like this, and he's like, I'm going to blow your MFing brains out right here. And I remember was looking down at my little baby right there, who the door almost landed on. She's 5 days old. I'm recovering from a C-section. And I beg him, I say, please, 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 I just had my baby. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me right now. And he had took it off safety, and he had it pointed right here. And he said, I'm about to blow your brains out.
The level of isolation that you're at this point
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is beyond me.
Yeah.
Because you're in a cult who's isolating you from your family, who's
My
outside
family.
the cult,
Mm-hmm.
and partnering with your husband to isolate you from your family who's inside the cult.
Mm-hmm.
Then your husband goes to the extreme of taking you out to the woods to where any and everything can happen to you. And it doesn't matter if you scream.
Nobody's going to hear me.
It doesn't even matter if you
made that comment one time. Nobody can hear you.
Nobody.
He made that comment.
Because he knew.
He knew. Yeah, he knew. And he knew the church wasn't going to help me because he knew I told the pastor. The pastor said, you got to deal with it. You're married to him. You've got to obey him. He knew I couldn't call the police. The police, one of the officers, went to the church. He wouldn't do nothing about it.
Even if they didn't, though, by the time the police, if you would have called somebody during a heated, abusive moment, by the time they would have got to you, it wouldn't even
been
matter.
Too late. He had so many big, army style guns, like AR-15s, SKS, AK-47s. He collected guns at that point. He had so many of them. He knew I was scared. So I stayed home and I cooked every single night, and I cleaned, and I obeyed every one of his rules and every one of the pastor's rules. I always obeyed. Always. I was sweet, quiet, and obedient. That's what I done.
Still got abused. What's up, my people? It's your favorite light, M Boogie in this thing. Welcome to another amazing episode of the Can't Be Broken podcast. We in season 2. Yo, it's season 2, and I am so thrilled, excited, privileged, honored, and beyond overjoyed that we have made it this far. 2026, let's go. Anyways, if you've never been here before, welcome to the show. We got 3 simple goals: to educate, empower, and encourage. We are here to educate anyone who has never been in abusive relationships, don't understand abusive relationships, how people get in there, why they stay in there, how come you just don't walk away? We're going to find out. We are here to empower all of our survivors to stand up and share your story without shame, fear, guilt, or judgment. Because, baby, listen, you are strong, you are powerful, and your voice deserves to be heard. And to anyone who is currently suffering in silence, listen, you're not alone. You're not crazy. Abuse is not normal. Your feelings are valid. And despite how it may look and feel in this very moment, there is always a way out. And we encourage you to safely seek support. And y'all know what it is. We about to go ahead and hop up in this thing because we got to rise above these insecurities, release the burdens of shame and guilt, and revive our God-given power, purpose, and passion. The Conf1dence Way. So we about to light it up. All right, listen, y'all. This is season 2. I cannot get over how excited I am to be able to say season 2 of the Can't Be Broken podcast. As always, we have a phenomenal, beautiful, amazing creation of God's own doing, and the world knows her as Rachel. Rachel, welcome to the show. Pew, 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 pew. Confetti, 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 confetti. Listen.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
I am excited to have you. And yes, it's season 2. And no, I don't have a soundboard. And we're going to be all right.
That's right.
We're going to make it do what it do with what we got. Baby, I am excited to have this conversation. I don't know how dangerous this conversation is going to be. So just make sure y'all have your handy dandy helmets, elbow pads, knee pads right next to you. If you need to put it in, please buckle up for safety and hang on for this ride. Mm-hmm. Rachel, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this thing. So my first question, Rachel, is when you were growing up, did you ever find yourself being a witness or being involved in any kind of abuse, whether it just be verbal or physical or emotional, or something that you saw in your family or maybe at church or maybe at school, like anything like that?
I did. Yes.
You did.
I did. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so my birth father and mom were married until I was 8, and they divorced when I was 8. But I remember times he would physically and emotionally abuse her in front of us. I remember it starting from the time I was probably like 4 is when I remember it, but it happened way before that. But I remember it happening around 4 years old, and I remember him physically abusing her. And I was scared, I was like, that's my mom. And I remember him doing that to her as a little child. I remember him putting his hands on her.
So you said us. Are you the oldest or do you have older siblings?
I am. Mm-hmm.
You're the oldest. And you can remember far back as far as seeing your father hit your mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
That hurts my heart so much because we know as adults now that there are few memories that children have at that young of an age, like 5, 4, 3. Yeah. You might have a small like flash of a memory, but we don't have like a lot of memories. And for that to be something that you remember.
I remember it, yeah. Yeah, it was rough.
I have to say this to anyone who is currently in an abusive relationship and you're staying, quote unquote, for the kids. No judgment, because I did it. That was my train of thought too. But it's more damaging to the kids than leaving. And you don't know, regardless of their age, as Rachel just said, you have no idea how much of that they're going to remember and how much of those memories is going to determine what moves they make when it comes to having relationships in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you can remember that as early as 4, and your mom and your dad didn't divorce until you were 8. So you had 4 years of witnessing this.
We would move out. We would move back in with my grandparents, and we'd go back to my birth father for those 4 years. It was a repeated. And I don't blame my mom for it because she was young. She was 17 when she had me. So she thought she was doing well. But I can say one thing. She never let him abuse us.
That's good.
She never let them. Yeah.
So she was 17 when she had you. How old was your dad? Like, were they the same age?
No. When they started dating, she was 13 and he was 18.
Mm-hmm. Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up.
He lied to my grandparents and said he was younger than that, but he was actually 18 and she was 13. So he basically groomed her.
And your grandparents believe, like, he looked that young that your grandparents
he did. He looked young. He looked young. He didn't look his age. Yeah.
Where were his freaking parents?
His dad and mom were divorced, and his mom was working most of the time, and his dad was off doing his own thing. Yeah.
Your poor mother. Did she know?
Yeah, she went through it.
Like, did he tell her the truth about his age when she was that young, or he lied to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
He lied to everybody.
Yeah. I'll have to ask my mom that, but I don't even know if she knew his exact age.
How old were you when you found out that, like, how old were you, or if you know how old your mom was when she found out, hey, this dude is not, like, he's 5 years older than me?
I think it was when she was about 15. I think that's when it was, and she stayed with him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like a trauma bond, I think.
Was he abusive the whole time?
I don't know about when they were younger. I don't know if he abused her when they were teenagers. I don't know if he even actually had the opportunity to be around her as much to abuse her as he did once they had me and they got married. Because they got married while she was pregnant with me.
Okay. They got married. She's 17. He's now 22. And
mm-hmm.
Does he have his own place? Like, do they move into a place together, or did he already have his own apartment and then she moves in once they get married?
They moved. No, they moved in with my grandparents once they got married. We lived there for like, I want to say like off and on. We lived there the whole time, but we didn't get like our own place, I think, until I was probably, I want to say 6, maybe. We got
So for
apartment.
anyone who's not in this extreme situation, just
so we lived off and on with my
because my situation wasn't that extreme. He was abusing your mother in her parents' between what I experienced and what you just said.
No,
is
not
this.
in her house.
You were sweet, quiet.
I don't know if he abused her when we were living there. I just know he abused her when we had moved out.
To do
so I know it would have been 4. It would have been 4. I said 6,
abused.
but it would have been 4 because we lived in a house when I was 4, and then we moved to an apartment when I was about 5-ish, 6. So yeah, for 4 years.
And when you're
years,
in it, you're constantly battling that. So do you know, or what else can I do? Speculate. There's got to be something else that I can do that's going to stop this. 17, like, you really wholeheartedly believe and think that, okay, there's something else that I can 21.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
I always thought there was something wrong with me,
Clearly he was manipulative. There's nothing for you to fix.
Yeah, he
was he emotionally abusive to her and verbally abusive to her? Have you ever had that conversation?
He was emotionally abusive. I believe he was verbally abusive to her. But he wasn't physical in front of my grandparents ever. And it's crazy because compared to where he's at now, he's in prison for something totally different. But he's been in there for almost 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So when your mom
for something really bad.
So when your mom and him moved in together, do you know if she ever called the police, or did she just always pack y'all up and go back to your grandparents' house?
I don't remember her ever calling the police. I just remember her packing us up and us going back to my grandparents. I don't remember the police ever being involved. But I do remember my grandpa threatening him. I do remember that.
The sad thing is, because a lot of protective fathers do that. But the sad thing is, when you're dealing with someone who's willing to put their hands on a female, they don't care about your threats, because in their mind, they're more dangerous than anything that you're going to say that you're going to do to them.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't care. Abusers don't care.
Oh, your poor mom. God.
Yeah, she went through it.
How do you feel being, not only witnessing that and him having the audacity to do it in front of you? So your mom goes back and forth for 4 years, basically.
Yeah.
Y'all move out, and then for those 4 years, she's trying to figure out if she's going to stay or leave, and finally she leaves.
She finally decided when I was 8 years old, and she never went back after that.
Okay. Did she ever remarry, or did she ever find
She
anybody
did.
else?
When I was 11, she remarried she married my stepfather, and he raised us, and he never abused her, never. He's a good
That's
man.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. See,
Yeah.
I love that. I like to hear
Yeah.
that.
And he's been there for me ever since I was 11. So, yeah, that's
Wow.
when I consider him my dad. That's my dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
How do you feel being a witness to what your mom endured? How do you feel that played a part on you finding yourself in your own abusive relationships?
I guess I kind of thought it might be normal. Like that might
Mhm.
be a normal relationship. Like I always thought the woman was supposed to obey the man. That's the way I was raised. I was raised in a cult. I was raised in an actual
What?
cult.
Hey,
Yeah.
Rachel, we're not gonna speed past this. Hold on.
Yeah.
What?
Yes. I was raised in a cult. My birth father had the idea to join it when I was 2 years old. It was supposed to be, at first, it was more like Pentecostal. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
then when I was around, I say 10, they got completely out of Pentecostal and became their own religion. And it was an actual cult. And I left it 8 years ago.
Is your mom still in it?
No, she left. My mom left 3 weeks after me. My brothers had already left. My sister left when my mom left. And I have a few cousins still in it, but they can't talk to me or anything. I'm shunned.
Wait,
Mhm.
so what in the world how do you end up I don't even know how to ask them. This is wild because I told y'all to have y'all helmets ready.
Yeah,
Dang.
they need to
Wait a
buckle up.
minute. So when your mom remarried,
Hmm.
was it just her, or did your stepfather join in
He
with her
was
too?
she met him there. He was already in the cult.
And you left first and then they left after you.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
what was it that you saw in this whole situation where you was like, this ain't it?
I started realizing after dealing with the marriage I had while I was in the cult. I got married in the cult, and it was an arranged marriage. It wasn't like something that I wanted. So, and I want to say like 4 or 5 years after I had married that guy, I started realizing like this isn't this isn't normal, and I wasn't allowed to see my grandparents. I wasn't allowed to see my family that didn't go there. And I started studying and reading stuff online about cults. And I realized, wait, I think I'm actually in a cult. I
That's
thought it was
crazy.
normal though, because I grew up like that my entire life from the time I was 2 to the time I was 25. It was normal to me. Everything that I went through I thought it was normal. All the rules and all the different things that happened to me at that place, I thought it was normal. And then when I started reading about it, I realized this isn't normal, you know?
So did y'all have I guess like a property or something where everybody kind of a community village type thing where everybody lived in close proximity, or how did that work?
Well, no, everybody didn't live there. There was the leaders, a lot of the leaders lived there, except for the pastor. He lived like 10 minutes from the church in a real big like mansion. Like
Mm-hmm.
he had lots of money from the church. He never worked. He lived there, and then some of the leaders lived on the property, and we had a school on the property. We had the church, we had a few little buildings, we had a gym. So I went to school there 4 days a week, Tuesday through Friday. So I went to school at that cult all my life. And so that's all I knew, you know. But I didn't live there. We lived like about 10 minutes away from it. Yeah.
That's
And it's still
wild.
there and it's still running. Yeah.
Okay, you said your brothers left first.
Hmm. Yeah. My stepbrother, I should say my stepbrother.
Okay.
Because
How,
my stepdad had a son that was the
okay.
same age as me.
Okay.
Hmm. And
How
he left
long
first.
how long before how long before you did he leave?
He left when we were 18, so 19, about 7 years before me. And we
And
didn't
what
see him. We didn't see him those whole 7 years. He moved to Las Vegas, and we couldn't have no contact with him.
Did he tell y'all he was about to go, or did he kind of like sneak? Like, how do you even leave a cult without?
It's hard. He came in one day. He had his own truck and he had a job. And he said it was the day he turned 18. He come in. He said, "I'm leaving," and he packed his stuff up in that truck and never came back. Yeah.
Dang. But y'all have talked to him now since y'all have
Yeah,
been?
we've talked. He's moved back to Brookhaven. We've talked to him now since then.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Do y'all ever talk about your experience or talk about why he ended up leaving when he was 18? Like, what caused him to be like, I'm not doing this?
We've never actually spoke. We're not very close. He got on
Mhm.
drugs when he left.
Mhm.
So we haven't had a really close relationship since he left. We do talk every once in a while, but we haven't really spoke about it. Our relationship's kind of strained, I
Yeah.
guess you could say. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my little brother, we talk about it a lot. My little brother left before I did. He left when he was 16. He moved in with my grandparents.
So your grandparents weren't part of this?
No, the only people in my family that were part of it was my mom and my stepdad. When she divorced my dad, he left the cult. And it was my mom and my stepdad and my siblings and a few cousins.
I'm so done. Hold up.
Yeah.
Wait. So your biological father is the reason that your mother joined the cult.
Yes.
Then when she divorced him, she stayed in the cult and he left.
And he left. Yep.
Wait, so they didn't treat her any kind of way when she divorced him? They weren't like...
Not back then. Things were different back then. It was more still Pentecostal back then. It didn't really turn
Oh,
until I turned about, I want to say, in between the ages of 10 and 11. So
okay.
it wasn't as strict as
I
it is
see.
now. Yeah.
And so as it was changing to the strictness of the whole culthood,
Yeah.
your mom, 11, so your mom had already met your stepfather by this point.
Yeah, they married when I was 11.
This is bananas.
Oh yeah.
This is bananas.
If you live in our town, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about because everybody in the town talks about it in Brookhaven. Yeah.
So once you turned 10 or 11, did that mean, and they started shifting it to an actual cult, that meant that you lost communication with your grandparents?
Yep. Yeah. I had to sneak around to speak to them. I couldn't stay the night with them anymore. I couldn't go see them. We couldn't go up there for holidays or nothing.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went 8 years basically without much communication with them. I would have to sneak around to see them.
This is a whole nother level because it's one thing to be isolated because of one person who's being abusive, but to be isolated from your family because you're in a cult and you didn't even realize it.
I didn't realize it.
Dang.
So yeah, it was like spiritual abuse and then the physical abuse and every other kind of abuse you can think of. And I thought it was normal.
Child. Rachel.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Okay. Hey, we can't even get in it. I'm so distracted. Lord. Oh my gosh. This is wild. Okay. Okay, I have another question then, because your stepfather was absolutely amazing to your mom.
Yes.
But they met right around the time that they went from Pentecostal to cultish.
Yeah.
He still wasn't, so he still was kind of defiant then, in a sense of not necessarily following the rules of the cult as they would have put on the head of the house to be treating.
Yeah. He done the working and my mom stayed home and she cooked and cleaned and all that, but he never abused her. He never treated her like some of the men treated the women in the cult. He never done that. He didn't do that. So I guess I could say he disobeyed some of that because some of them women, I'm not sure what happened to them at their homes. But I know I never have seen my stepdad put his hands on my mom ever. Never.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling, and there's no judgment because this is judgment free.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I'm just so curious because it blows my mind how someone who is not abusive, is actually loving and of God and treats people as such. It blows my mind how they can be around, or they don't even have to be loving and of God, just not abusive.
Yeah.
How they can be around other people who are abusive and stay around it.
Yeah, I know. I've never understood that part of why we stayed. I never understood it. I still don't. And I asked my mom about it actually because she knew I was doing this. And she said the only thing she really can figure out is they were brainwashed, basically. That's what she thinks. That's the only answer she really can give me because I was brainwashed. I thought it was normal, you know?
What? Girl, you've been through it.
Oh, yeah. We haven't even got halfway through any of it.
You ain't even got nowhere
It's a
yet. lot. So, okay. Dang, Rachel.
Yeah.
Okay. Get it together, Em. All right. So, because you mentioned that it was an arranged marriage. Does that mean, because I don't want to assume, does that mean that prior to that arranged marriage, you didn't have an opportunity to date or get to know anybody else?
I never dated another person. Not another person. I was his babysitter. Me and my mom babysat his kid. He was married before.
Rachel.
Yes.
I'm about to throw this phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was married.
Before he joined the cult, he was married. Okay. And he had three kids. And he had custody of them.
He had custody of the kids.
He had custody of the kids. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. I really still to this day don't know how he got custody of those kids. I don't understand it.
So many questions. Did you ever meet the mother of those children?
Yeah. We're actually friends now. We're friends. We're friends on Facebook. We talk. And she's told me a lot of stories. She was really abused by him too.
And he got custody?
Yeah. He got custody of the kids.
Oh my gosh. I'm over here like my body is itching and it's not itching. Yeah. I'm so done already.
I know.
Wait, because the only time it seems like a man would get custody of the kids is if the mom is not a fit mother.
Yeah, I'm not sure about how she was back then or anything. We never really spoke about that. And I didn't want to assume anything or anything. So I'm not exactly sure how he got custody. I don't know if it was manipulation, maybe.
It feels that way.
I personally think it could have been like scare tactics because I know how he was. That's what my personal belief is. But I've never asked her how he got custody.
That way.
Because I knew it was like a sensitive topic for her.
Right. Especially if you haven't had an opportunity to heal, it's not comfortable for you to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So when do so he joins the cult?
When I was 16 when he joined. I was 16.
Were he and his ex-wife around the same age?
Yeah, they were the same age.
How much older than you is he?
10 years. Yeah, 10 years.
How does this happen?
Yeah. He was 10 years older than me.
So he comes in 26 with 3 kids already.
Yeah. And I'm 16. And I'm not exactly sure how my mom basically was the one who started babysitting, and then I'd help her because I was working a job too. I was working at Cracker Barrel. So I would help her babysit them, and we babysat them. I want to say I think we started babysitting them when I was 16. I think that's when I started, 16 or 17, right after he joined. And then when I was 19 is when they thought it was a good idea for me and him to start dating.
Who is they?
The pastor and the leaders, the elders.
What did your mom say?
My mom didn't really like it, but she didn't want to go against what the elders of the church said. Yeah. My mom wasn't really for it. My mom or my stepdad. They didn't really, that's not what they wanted for me. You know, I was 19. I had never been married. I had never had a boyfriend. I had never kissed a boy, held a boy's hand, nothing. I was literally innocent at 19 years old.
This is starting to sound a lot like 4 episodes ago, because I had a conversation with someone else, and I can't remember if she actually called it a cult, but it was very religious. It was a lot of religious abuse that turned into physical abuse because, again, she ended up marrying someone innocent, virgin, all the things. And he was like, she's like, she had never enjoyed sex.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, and I'm like, how do you, like, it was just not, none of it. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I understand what she went through then.
Yeah. And I said that because somebody's going to be on here and somebody's going to see this episode, and that right there is proof because of her. This was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 episodes ago. Her and you is proof that you're not alone. Although we have different experiences, there are a lot of similarities in what we do experience. Yeah. And it might not be over the broad spectrum of everybody, but I don't believe that there's one person who's been abused that has been abused in a way that no one else in this world has been abused.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree, because I've talked to women who's went through similar things as me. Yeah.
And like when you're going through it, you think that nobody would understand.
You think you're the only one. You don't realize it. Yeah.
And so I wanted to sit right on that for a hot second in the hopes that whoever comes across this podcast who needs to hear that and is still in it, just know that you're not the only person. It feels like it in the moment, but you're not the only person who has experienced it. You're not stupid. You're not an idiot. You're not dumb. Whatever decisions you make, yes, do we make stupid decisions? Yes, we do. Are some of the things that we go through things that are outside of our control? Yes, they are. But you're not alone. And as you can see, there is proof. If Rachel can get out of freaking cult,
yeah.
and an abuse. Oh my! If Rachel can survive being a witness to abuse by her father, getting out of a cult, and survive being abused by someone who is, oh my God, listen, you can do it too. Okay, like there is a way out, and as you can see, we have been sniggling and giggling on this show. There is joy on the other side, despite what's going to be said after this moment. Just we want you to seek support, be safe, get help, but just know that you're not stuck. That's my soapbox. I'm done. Rachel, okay. 3 years, you and your mom are babysitting his kids. He's now 29, you're 19, and the church leaders are saying y'all need to get married.
Yeah. I went to church on a Monday night. We had a service called Family Matters. It was a service we had once a month at nighttime. And it was basically teaching you how to be a husband, a wife, mother, father. Yeah.
I'm so done.
So, when that
service was done.
Yeah. When that service was over, the pastor brought me and him to the side, like to his office, actually it was, and was like, look, it's Monday night. We want you to get married at the earliest day you can this week. And
what?
Yeah. He wanted us to run away and leave the kids on my mom and them's porch and then drive off and go to Alabama and get married. Well, I couldn't do that. I did not feel comfortable doing that. So I told my mom when we left the church.
Wait. I said, Mom, hold on. I'm sorry. I got to interrupt. Okay. Why couldn't you get married in Mississippi?
I can get married in Mississippi, yeah. But he wanted us to like run off and get married.
And not come back? Or like what?
Yeah, come back after we got married, come back. But not let my parents know.
That's what it was.
Yeah, he didn't
want your parents to know.
Yeah. So what happened was we left that service, and me and my mom, I'll never forget, we were in line at McDonald's. We were going to get a sweet tea after we left church. And I said, Mom, I got to tell you something. And she's like, what is it? I said, I've got to get married this week. And she's like, what? I said, I'm not going to say the pastor's name, but Pastor such and such said, I've got to get married this week. And she's like, this week? And I said, yes, ma'am. And so I said, he wanted us to run off and get married, but I told him, no, I couldn't do that. I have to let my parents know. So I found out on a Monday night. Back then, that was 16 years ago. You had to go get the blood test and everything. So Hazelhurst, which is a city like 30 minutes from me, were the only city that was nearby that would do the blood test. So they had an appointment Wednesday. We went and done that appointment, left there, went and got our marriage license, and my parents signed it. My mom signed it because I was underage. And then went home that night.
At 19?
Yeah, 19. She had to still sign for me back then, 16 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She signed for me, and he picked me up early that Thursday morning and picked me up from my house. We left and we went straight to the Justice of the Peace. We got married, and then we went straight to Natchez for a honeymoon. But it was not a honeymoon. It was torture, basically. But yeah, that's what happened.
Okay, because we gotta put it in reverse, Terry. We gotta put it in reverse.
Yeah, in
reverse. Prior to Monday night,
mm-hmm.
had there been any kind of, were you even attracted to him? Like, did you look at him from a distance and be like, well, he's kind of cute. I see why he would be married, blah, blah, like anything?
I thought he was kind of cute. We had went on 2 dates. We did go on 2 dates.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Now, hold on now. I mean, because you're of legal age.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel when he first asked you out?
I kind of felt weird, but it was encouraged by the church for us to get together. So they encouraged me. They was like, go do it. You should go out with him. So we had to have chaperones because in the cult, you can't go out by yourself no matter how old you are. You have to have another couple. So we went out to eat, I think 2 times. And then he came over, of course, because we were babysitting his kids. Mm-hmm. So he would come over and pick his kids up, but we never went on any other dates. That's all we done, those 2 times.
How did the dates go?
One date was with his kids, so I was like kind of overwhelmed because I'd never taken care of that many kids before. So I was having to try to order for all 3 kids and take care of them and make sure they didn't spill stuff. And so I was stressed out the first date. And then the second date, it was me and him and another couple. And honestly, we just went out to eat and we went to Barnes and Noble. So it wasn't like nothing major.
Was the other couple more around his age or around your age?
They were older. They were around his age, maybe a little bit older than him. Yeah, okay. I was the youngest one. Mm-hmm.
How did you feel?
I felt kind of like it. I felt out of place. Like it wasn't like what I really wanted for my life. But the leaders thought it was a good idea, and I was like, well, they said God was in it. That was their exact words. So I believed that they had talked to God, and God told him this was what was right for my life. So that's why I done it, and that's why when the pastor told me I have to get married that week, I agreed because he said that's what God wanted. God spoke to him. And that's what God wanted us to do, and for him to tell us. So I agreed because I thought I was doing God's will.
Let me tell y'all something. And this isn't even because it's a cult. Like when people, because I was having a conversation today with a coworker, when people ask me, once they find out that I left, like I was married before and that I left because Harpo was abusive, they're like, well, was it physical? And my answer is, it was everything. And in that everything abusive, I'm like, it was spiritually abusive as well. And for anyone who doesn't understand what spiritual abuse is, mm-hmm. Rachel literally just laid it out for you.
Yeah.
Because for you to put God in something that God did mm-hmm. not put together.
Yeah.
Like for you had to deal with it from the church and mm-hmm. from your Harpo or yeah. that Harpo. He's not yours. Mm-hmm. We don't claim. Yeah. But from that Harpo on that mm-hmm. side, from me, I was dealing with it from the Harpo on this side. Like he would throw scripture. He would say like, it was like, yeah. he would be abusive and then come back and be like, I plead the blood of Jesus. I'm like,
yep. Yeah.
Mother sucker, you're the one who just caused all of this. And I don't even want to hear no Jesus right now. Get mm-hmm. the freak away from me.
I understand. Yes.
Okay. Yep. There is a decade between you and the 3 people you went on a double date with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A good decade, maybe a little more. Mm-hmm. Because they were my youth leaders. I was in their youth group.
The layers of this abuse mm-hmm. is Girl, I'm so proud of you. Like, I don't even know, because this is just like, this is thick. This is thick. Yeah. All right, so y'all go on 2 dates. We're gonna call them dates. Y'all go on 2 dates, and then Monday, you get hit in the chest because the pastor's like, "Hey, y'all gotta get married." I talked to God. God said, "This is y'all for each other. You got to get married this week."
Yep.
And because at this point you've been there 8 years easily.
Yeah.
And because 11, right? Longer than that.
No, I got there when I was 2.
Right, that's right.
So I had been there 17 years.
Cultish at 11.
Yeah, it turned cultish at 11. So yeah, it had been cultish for about 8 years, but I had been in that church for 17 years.
You trusted people.
They were my family. I didn't see my family, for those past 8 years. So that's all I knew. Those were my family,
For you to be like they were grooming a community of people.
Yeah. Oh, they done it. I'm not the only girl it's happened to. I'm just one of the only ones that has left and told my story, and willing to tell it. Some are still scared. I'm friends with a lot of them that have left. And actually, they knew I was going to be on this podcast, and they were all like, "We're proud of you, Rachel, and tell the whole story. Tell it all." That's what one lady told me actually last night. She said, "Tell it all, baby." Because she knows everything. She went to that church too.
Oh, we about to lay it out. We about to get in it. We about to get in it. Okay, I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. Okay. So, oh my gosh. All right. Dang, they wanted you to elope and then come back. Like the level of disrespect for your parents.
Yeah.
Who haven't shown any reason for them to be disrespectful to them.
I just don't think that the pastor really thought my parents would think it was a good idea.
He couldn't have. He knew they wouldn't.
That's exactly what I thought, that he thought my parents wouldn't think it was a good idea. And they didn't. But they only signed, my mom only signed because my pastor said God told him, and my mom assumed that God spoke to him.
Because y'all been there for a good hot second.
I assumed it too. That's not what I wanted for my life at 19 years old. You don't want to take on 3 kids and a man that's almost 30,
No, my
Especially
God.
when you've never dated. I didn't want that for my life, but I thought it was God's will for my life. And I even questioned God those few days before we got married. Why is this what you have for me?
Do you feel like you heard anything? Like, did you feel anything, a response, or were you just so overstimulated and overwhelmed?
I never really heard. I felt like I heard anything. I just felt like, well, God must have told the pastor, and that's why I done it. Yeah.
So y'all get married. Y'all go sign some papers, right?
Yeah.
There's same with me. Like there was no wedding. There was no wedding. And I get the wedding's not the marriage. I totally get that. But we didn't have any vows. Yeah. So it's like we literally, he's like, we should just go to the courthouse because we were pregnant. And his whole thing was we were getting ready to go on a trip out of town. And his whole thing was we need to get married before we go, putting it off as painting it as just in case anything happens, we should be married. And then now that I'm out of it, I'm like, so if something happens, you get all my assets.
Yep. Wow. That's crazy.
So we went, and he didn't want me to tell my dad either.
Oh, wow. He knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yep. He didn't want me to tell my dad either. And my bless my little heart, went on to that stupid courthouse and got a paper, walked to the bank and got it notarized and went back and signed everything.
Oh, wow.
Anywho, so y'all did the same thing. You go to the courthouse. Like, and in my brain, I'm like, okay, we're married, but there was no commit. Like, to me, even though it's technically legal, there was no commitment. There was no, I commit myself to you to do these things for you in this marriage, and you commit yourself to me to do these things for me in this marriage, and we're going to work. There was none of that.
Yeah,
and I know you can say it in front of God and man, and it still not mean anything. But dang, at least it was said, at least
Yeah.
You had enough something to say you were going to have a commitment. We ain't had that. You ain't have that. You come back and you have to move in with him and 3 kids.
And 3 kids.
How old are his children, by the way?
His oldest was 10. 10, almost 11. 10, 8, and 6.
So they're looking at you like a big sister.
Yeah, and they started calling me mama immediately. And I was like, and bless their heart, I love them. I still do. I still talk to them. But I wasn't ready to be a mama.
No.
I didn't know what I was doing.
The brainwashing for him to have convinced them to call another woman mom.
Yep. Yep.
So here's the question. Did they ever get visitation or see their biological mom?
They did. In the summertime, they got to see her every summer.
God, that had to have been so painful.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And then they running around here calling somebody else who's
Mm-hmm.
half your
I can't
age.
imagine. Yeah, a 19-year-old. I can't imagine what their mom was feeling.
Right.
I kind of put myself now in her situation, and I can't imagine what she was feeling. Like I said, we're good friends now. Like, we talk on Facebook and stuff all the time.
Yeah, the
she's
heartbreak.
a sweet woman. Mm-hmm.
Dang. Woo, she's strong too. Bless her heart.
She's very strong.
Yeah. Okay. You move in. They start calling you mom immediately.
Yeah.
No, and pause, because we got to go back to this not so honeymoon. So y'all sign papers, and then you're like you take the kids to your parents' house.
We dropped them off. When he come to pick me up that morning, the kids went straight into my mom's house. He picked me up at like 9 in the morning, and I think our appointment was at 9:30. And the kids, they went straight. Yeah, they went straight in there to my parents.
Time out. Where are his parents?
His dad had lived. I think his mom and dad were both on the coast at that time. I think they lived on the coast of Mississippi. They're from Pascagoula.
So they weren't a part of this cult.
Neither one of them were going there.
Which then means y'all didn't communicate with them either.
Nope. They didn't even know we got married till afterwards. They didn't know nothing.
So his kids only knew your parents as
their grandparents. And then they'd see their mom's parents in the summer. That's all they knew. Yeah. So my parents became grandparents overnight. And my mom was young. My mom was only 17 years older than me.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So he drops the kids off at your mom's house. Y'all go to y'all's appointments. Y'all get everything signed. And come back, get that sign, go back. And then y'all go, like, how far away where did you say y'all went?
Natchez.
How far away is that?
It's like, I want to say 30 minutes from where I live, maybe 45.
And y'all just go hang out in a hotel for the weekend? Like what?
Basically, we left from the courthouse and we went to Walmart. And this is like one of the most painful parts for me. It's really hard to deal with, but through therapy and things like that, I've gotten better. And he went and bought a white sheet, if you know what I'm insinuating. And I guess he wanted to know for sure, And so he bought that white sheet to take with us to Natchez. And I'll never forget, because I was like, in my innocent mind, I'm like, why are you buying a white sheet? I didn't know. I had no clue. None. And then when we got to Natchez, the hotel wasn't ready. The room wasn't cleaned. So he paid them an extra $40 to hurry up and get the room clean.
What time was it at this point?
It was probably about 11 o'clock, maybe noonish.
The hotel that y'all go to, is it like a Days Inn?
It's a Days Inn. Yeah, it was a Days Inn. Just a little Days Inn hotel. Nothing fancy at all. Yeah, it was a Days Inn.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm so done.
Yeah.
Because, and this is bananas. I am done. Not saying that it had to have been a 5-star, but
no, but yeah, it was the Days Inn. Yep.
A day's in Mississippi. Y'all, and if y'all don't understand, like, we're from the South, and people don't understand the South if you're not from the South. Because, like,
Yeah,
when you
exactly.
said we left church to go get a sweet tea, I was so tickled because I'm like, we used to go from school and we would stop by McDonald's to get a fish sandwich and a sweet tea before we went to Bible study.
Yeah. We would get McChickens. We didn't get the fish sandwiches. We got the McChickens and sweet tea.
This is so Southern country. Yeah, we went to get a sweet tea. People don't get it. They don't know.
They don't get it.
I talk to people all over the world. So if you don't know Alabama, Mississippi, we
country.
are sweet tea.
Yeah, we like our sweet tea.
Church and sweet tea. You hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Days in.
Yeah.
He pays the extra $40 to rush and get y'all's room ready.
Yeah.
So you go, so you get there. Like, how are you? Because you don't know what's happening. Like, it's not, I imagine it hasn't really registered yet because, I mean, like, this is the same week.
Yeah. Yeah. It hadn't really registered. I think I was probably maybe in shock. I don't really know at the time. I was young.
Yeah.
And I was scared. I remember being scared and I thought to myself, I want to go home. I want to go back home. But I couldn't. Or at least I thought I couldn't. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to go home. That's all I kept thinking was I don't want to be here.
Do y'all even talk, like, during the process of him coming to pick you up, to going to the courthouse, to going to, like, are y'all even having conversation, like cordial conversations? Like, how do you
No, the whole conversation on the way there was what he was going to do to me when he got me there. So I was scared. Yeah. So it was scary, you know.
What was he saying?
He was just talking about me being innocent and things like that, and what happens and what was going to happen when I got there. And so I was scared.
He's basically trying to give you the rundown of this is what happens when you lose your virginity. This is what you're supposed to expect.
Yep. And basically that he's my husband now and he controls me.
Did you ever get any kind of sense of that side of him when you were babysitting his kids?
Yeah, there was one time that we had went on a date because we only went on those 2 dates. And then I remember our boy came to visit church and we were in the gym. We had a gym behind the church and we would go there on Sunday nights after church. We would go over there and they would play ball and we'd have like concession stand. And I remember our boy had come and visited with my family. I don't even remember who he was, but he was talking to me. And I remember him, my ex-husband at the time, we were just friends. Basically, I was his babysitter, going to his car and then calling me on my phone, fighting mad because another boy was talking to me inside of the gym. And I never told anybody because I was like, well, I guess that's normal. But he was mad because somebody was just talking to me. There was nothing. It was just casual conversation.
And this was after y'all had been on one date?
One date. Yeah, we had only been on one date.
So in his brain, he probably already knew where this was going.
Yeah, he knew. He was friends with the pastor and he loved control like the pastor did. And so he knew what was going to happen. In my mind, I didn't realize all this was going to happen, but he did.
Yeah, and then you're talking to somebody who's actually your age.
Yeah.
Which you can relate to a lot better, whether you're attracted to this person or not. It's just
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I thought to myself, I was like, he's almost 30. I'm 19, and he's got 3 kids, you know. And I thought that even when we got to the hotel, I was like, this is the stuff he said on the way there, and I was like, this is not what I want, but I don't have a choice because this is God's will for me. And I always questioned God. And I was like, why is this your will for me when I've obeyed? I've never, went and blatantly sinned or done anything against the pastor. I've always obeyed the rules. I always wondered why that was his will for me. But now on the other side, I realized that wasn't his will for me.
That wasn't his
But at the time, I spent many nights questioning why he had this for me. Why did I have to go through that? Why was that his will for me? Yeah.
Dang.
But yeah, we stayed in Natchez for like when we got there, he paid them that $40, and then we went inside, and then he done whatever he wanted to do to me, and I just had to lay there. And I remember crying because I was scared, and I didn't have a choice. And then we stayed there for 2 more days, and we came back on a Sunday because we had church. We had to be back for church that morning. Mm-hmm. So that was a Thursday, and we came back that Sunday morning. We left the hotel early that Sunday morning, and we went straight to church when we got back to town. And then after church, we went straight to his house. My stuff had been moved in there. Most of my stuff had been moved in there in between that Monday and Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, we had packed up most of my stuff. I didn't have nothing but like my bedroom set and my clothes and shoes and stuff. So all that had been moved in there. Yeah.
I don't mean to go back to this, but mm-hmm. I'm thinking my brain right now is y'all get to the hotel, you're there mm-hmm. for 2 days. Mm-hmm. It's a day's in, so it's not like y'all have, a lazy river to go hang out at when there's mm-hmm. nothing to do. So y'all are just sitting up in this little queen full-size bedroom
we went
with
to
a
eat.
TV.
No, we didn't watch TV. We didn't watch TV in that cult. We weren't allowed to watch TV. Yeah, TV was a no-no. I didn't grow up watching TV. Yeah, there was no TV.
So,
mm-hmm.
So you're there, you mm-hmm. wake up, he's there. Like, mm-hmm. what y'all doing when he's not basically raping you?
We went to the mall for like an hour. And as soon as I got out of the truck to go to the mall down the road, his first question was, does it feel different? Does it feel different when you walk now? That was all he could talk about, was that kind of stuff. We didn't even buy nothing at the mall. He didn't have no money. And I, of course, didn't have any money. So we didn't buy nothing. We just walked around the mall for a few minutes. Maybe an hour, about an hour.
Was there anybody in the cult that had money?
Besides a lot of them. There's probably about, I want to say 6 more families that have money there.
Dang. Mm-hmm. So everybody just living there broke, just
basically, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hanging on.
They give all their money to the pastor. He takes all the money. He's living like a millionaire. He even had a plane. He sold his plane a few years ago. Mm-hmm.
That's bananas.
Yep.
So y'all are walking around the mall.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't have no money. He was broke because he barely made any money. And so we went out to eat. I think that night we went to Chinese. And then we went back to the hotel. And that's all that happened. It was a Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. 3 nights. That's basically all. We went out to eat twice, I think, and went to the mall. And we might have drove around once or twice. It seems like we did. I think we went on the Natchez Trace. The Natchez Trace is a like historical thing in Natchez. Mm-hmm. And I think we went to 1 or 2 sites on that. And then we went right back to the hotel. So we spent most of the time at the hotel.
But it's a day's in, so it's not like they have a restaurant at the hotel.
We ordered, we went and got takeout, I think it was 1 or 2 nights. We got pizza one night. We ate in the room most of the nights. Mm-hmm. We would go and get something, pick it up, and bring it back to the room. Besides, like one night we went out to eat at Chinese, and another night, I cannot remember if it was Mexican or something we went to. Yeah.
So y'all get back, your stuff's already moved in. You move mm-hmm. into, y'all get back and go to church. Like mm-hmm. I'm imagining, like I'm visualizing what's happening in this week. Mm-hmm. And all I can see is you going from Rachel to mm-hmm. a shell of yourself, just like that.
Overnight. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So now you're walking around dazed, confused, don't know, like life mm-hmm. is no longer life. Like you don't even know what you're
nothing in. Like I was used to. I went from being single at home with my parents and my little sister, and to being married with 3 kids overnight.
So after y'all got back and y'all went to church, did mm-hmm. he start controlling the dynamic of how often you were able to spend time with your family in the cult? Like,
yes, my mother. Yes, literally. Okay, so I got pregnant 3 weeks after we got married.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I got pregnant 3 weeks after we got married. And the abuse started when I was about 9 weeks pregnant. So it was going to be like 3 months after we got married, about 3 months after, because I got pregnant 3 weeks after we got married. So the abuse probably started about 3 months after. And it didn't start off as physical. It started off as, you can't see your mom, you're married now. The pastor said she doesn't need to come over to the house. You're a married woman. You can't talk to your mom on the phone. So when he was at work, I would be at home and I would sneak around and talk to my mom on the phone sometimes, but I'd have to erase the phone call as soon as I got done. Well, he'd come home and like, did you talk to your mom? And I'd say, no, I promise I didn't. I promise I didn't talk to my mom. And so I had to go to bed at night not talking to my mom. I couldn't see my grandparents. I couldn't talk to my stepdad. I couldn't talk to my siblings. It was just me, him, and his 3 kids. So I did become very close to them kids because they seen a lot. They went through a lot with me, you know. So I'm still close to them. But yeah, and then I got pregnant 3 weeks later. And the first time he abused me, I remember, well, it wasn't physical towards me the first time. I was pregnant. I was about 9 weeks pregnant. And I had just got home from the hospital probably like 3 days before that because they thought I was having a miscarriage. I didn't. It was a hematoma. But I had got home and I wanted to talk to my mama one night. I remember that. And I begged him to let him talk to my mama. Well, I had a little flip phone at the time. And he threw my phone across the yard. We had like a carport. And we were sitting on the carport, and I was begging him to please let me talk to my mama. And he threw it across the yard, and it hit the side of the house. And then I remember him going there and just stomping my phone and crushing it. So I couldn't call nobody. And he didn't have money to get me another phone for like 2 weeks. So I went without a phone. I didn't have a phone. That was the first form of abuse that he done. But it didn't start off physical. It started breaking my phone, you know?
Yeah.
That was when it first started.
The sad thing is, the whole thing is sad. Trust me. Another jacked up part though is like, you're now pregnant and you have a mom who's available and you can't even talk to her about
and my mom is a good mom. She wanted to see me. It hurt her. I remember afterwards talking to her about it, and it hurt her not being able to see me all that time. Only could see me at church, you know, because I was married.
Which is like, that blows my mind.
That blows my mind too. It was the rule at the church, though. It wasn't just his rule; it was the church's rule too. Once you got married, you didn't need to hang out with your mom very much.
They didn't want y'all talking about y'all's experiences.
Yep, that's exact. I know that now, but then I didn't know that.
Dang, that's bananas. I can't even, like, my mom died before she got to see any of her grandkids. And I think about quite often how, like, there's so much I want to talk to her about, so much I want to know about myself at that age, so I can see, like, be able to compare and see, like, where is this coming from? I know it's me, but is it really me? Like, so many conversations, but I don't even know if it's worse for her to be gone and not be able to have that conversation, or for you to have your mom and you still like, I don't know which one's worse.
I don't either. I don't know which one would be worse. They're both terrible.
They're both terrible because that's if you have a decent or good relationship with your mom, that's a very precious bond right there.
And me and my mom always have been very close. We were close in age, so we've always been close. She's always been a good mom. She took good care of me growing up, you know.
And you can't even talk to her about anything that's
about pregnancy or just anything going on. I couldn't tell her he broke my phone. I didn't have a phone to call her, so I think we had went to church that Tuesday night, and I had to tell her my phone was messed up. I think that's what I ended up telling her. I can't remember exactly, but I think that's what I told her. And then I went through my whole pregnancy with for 9 months, you know, barely. I could see my mom every once in a while, you know, and I could see her at church, and she would babysit the kids sometimes, so I could have a break, or I had to go to the doctor. but I couldn't see her or talk to her near about like we used to. So I had to go through a whole 9 months with mainly just seeing my mom at church, and then occasionally outside of church on holidays, or if he would let me see her. Sometimes he would want to get together and us cook, so we would see them, but not often. Or if he wanted them to babysit his kids, then we would see them. But I ended up having to have a C-section with my daughter. I had her when I was 20. And I had never had a baby before, so I was nervous, and I had 3 other kids to take care of on top of recovering from a C-section at 20 years old. And I remember one night, it was 5 days after my C-section. And I was begging him, please let my mama come over in the morning when you leave for work about 6 o'clock. I'm so tired. I just had a C-section 5 days ago. And he wanted me as soon as I came home from the hospital to start back doing laundry, cooking, cleaning, everything. I had to start doing all that 5 days after having a C-section. Well, I woke up about 5 o'clock in the morning because he was going to work at 6. And I was crying. I was hurting. I was tired. I said, can my mom please come over? And he cussed me like a dog. And I remember sitting there crying, called me a bunch of horrible names, and he got his 22 off the dresser. He had a small 22 pistol. He kept it on the dresser. And I ran into the living area, which was outside of our bedroom, and I put the baby in her little bassinet thing. I put her in there, and I tried locking the door because it had an outside lock, and I tried locking it into the bedroom so he couldn't get into the living room, and he kicked the door down, and it almost landed on my baby while she's in her little bassinet. So he runs over there to me in the living room, and he gets his 22 and he puts it to my temple like this, and he's like, I'm going to blow your MFing brains out right here. And I remember was looking down at my little baby right there, who the door almost landed on. She's 5 days old. I'm recovering from a C-section. And I beg him, I say, please, 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 I just had my baby. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me right now. And he had took it off safety, and he had it pointed right here. And he said, I'm about to blow your brains out. And it was God. I know that's all it was, because I said, please don't. And in my mind, I was like, God, please let him not pull this trigger. I don't want to leave my baby being raised by him. And something changed, and immediately he just pulled the gun down like this, and he's like, get in here, we're going to bed. And he put the button, and I was terrified, so I grabbed my baby, and I went straight.
We're going to bed before you got to go to work?
Yeah. And I went in there, and we laid down for 1 hour. Well, it was probably about 30 minutes then, because he had to leave. He had to get ready at 6. So it was probably about 30 minutes between then. And we went and laid back down for about 30 more minutes. And then he got dressed and went to work, and my mama couldn't come over. And I never told anyone till after I left him about him almost blowing my, head off, basically, 5 days after having a C-section. I never told anyone that.
Was that the only time he ever pulled a gun on you?
No, he's pulled gun on me tons of times after that. That was the first time. But he pulled guns on me so many times I can't even count. He used guns to scare me. Lots of times. Yeah. So I was abused the whole time, from the time I had my baby till she was 11 months old. I was physically, emotionally, spiritually abused by the church. Everything you can think of, it happened to me. Assaulted by him. And then he started using drugs.
Before we get to that. So he wasn't, not like the timeline is that far anyways. You known him for 3 years.
Yeah. He was an ex-drug addict then. When he came into the church, he come in through a program for ex-drug addicts.
Had you ever seen him or suspected him using drugs after he got to the...
I never thought he did. I didn't know what drugs was like anyways. So I'm not saying he didn't. I don't know.
You just don't know.
I don't know.
You know him for 3 years. You see one incident where he's clearly outside of his mind.
Yeah.
You get married.
Yeah.
You get raped.
Yeah, basically.
And you get pregnant. And in that time frame, which is now only 3 weeks, you're not abused.
Yeah.
Then 9 weeks in, when you're 3 months pregnant, or somewhere around there.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
That's when the control is really taken up a notch.
Yep.
Then you have your baby.
He didn't abuse me physically through the pregnancy with her. He didn't abuse me. He kept my
you
mom from me, and he waited till I had the baby to start abusing me.
Had you healed from your C-section before he got physical?
No, I had not healed at all. No. Nope.
And he still wanted sex.
Yep. I think it was, I want to say 4 weeks later.
Like, I don't even, I can't,
I remember
not that we can actually understand their brains.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how anyone would want to have sex with someone who's literally cut open.
Yeah, I don't either. They're sick. Yeah.
And what was the time frame that the doctor told you to wait?
She said 6 weeks. And he waited, I want to say 4 at the most. I think it was 4.
Did he make you give him oral sex while he was waiting?
Yeah. Yes, he did. While I was healing. Well, I wasn't completely healed. Them 4 weeks. Yes, he did. Yep.
This is so outrageous.
I felt like that's all I was worth, was that and cooking
that's all
and
you're
cleaning
there for. You're
and taking care of
literally
his kids. His slave. That's what I thought I might be.
That's how I felt too.
Yeah.
Because it's like I don't, and they're not fit to be husbands because they can't submit to God. You know, they can't submit to anybody. So they don't know how submission really is supposed to work, what God is calling submission. And so when they're that way, all of them only think about themselves. But it's just wild to me. It's like, did you breastfeed?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And none of that, like, one, all of my organs are completely not where they're supposed to be.
Exactly. They've been picked up and moved and shifted and everything, you know.
For you have I didn't have a C-section. I know family who has, I have family who have had C-sections, but you don't think about it as in depth until you actually go through it, or you talk to people about, like, if you sit down, like, this isn't a cut. You're cutting
7 layers. It's 7 layers.
Skin, subskin, fat, muscle. Like, you're literally, you're cutting through muscle.
Yep.
Across, like, this ain't even in the direction we're supposed to go.
Exactly. It's a cross. Yep.
And then you pulling something out, and then you stuffing stuff in, and then you got all of these like the amount of
stitches inside. Still stitches inside, you know, they take a few weeks to dissolve.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got stitches, you have 7 layers of stitches now.
Yeah.
Then you're breastfeeding. So on top of being exhausted, on top of trying to keep this other little alien that you just brought into this world alive, you're trying to hold on to whatever piece of thread is left of you and your body and your sanity.
And then take care of those 3 other kids. Yep.
Then after all of that, you expect me to do this for you because you're not patient enough to wait for me to heal. And even then, you still don't. And in my case too, you still don't wait for me to heal.
Exactly. Yep.
And you don't care about the pain that I'm going through in the process of me healing.
And you know, when you have a C-section, they give you narcotics for pain. He took most of them.
No.
He did. Yes. He took most of them. He left me a few, but he said his back was hurting. So I was having to go through this pain with no medication.
He was still on drugs. Because ain't no way there's no way he was clean for those 3 years.
Yeah. Now looking back, I see that, he was on drugs.
And then he just be like, oh, my back's hurting, let me take that.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. So you're now being raped again.
Yeah.
4 weeks post delivery.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do y'all not understand that what you're doing is gonna, like, it can still make another baby? Like,
oh yeah, they don't care. I don't think, because when she was Yeah, they don't care, because I went through abuse from the time she was that 5 days old till the time she was 11 months old, and then when she was 11 months old, found out I'm pregnant again.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
So the only time that he wasn't abusive physically was when you were pregnant.
When I was pregnant.
That's
Well,
so.
with those two, he started with my third and fourth pregnancy. I was pregnant 4 times in the 4 years we were married.
Girl, I thought I had it rough. I mean, and we're not for anybody who doesn't
I
understand, we're
know.
not
Yeah.
comparing trauma
Yeah.
here. But she was 11 months. Mine was, how old was he? Oh, no. I had him in March and I got pregnant in November, so October. So never mind.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah. Never mind.
We're in the same boat.
Right, basically.
Gosh, it's like, what? Like, I don't want to. And our poor little bodies, like, I believe that we have the bodies that would have been like, yeah, let's snap back and get it. But
Yeah.
you went from, because I had to stop breastfeeding, and I don't know if
Yeah.
you had to.
No, I did. I stopped breastfeeding when I found out I was pregnant again when she was 11 months old.
My doctor told me I had to stop, and
Yeah.
I think it's, I don't
Mine
know if
did
it's,
too.
okay, well then that answers the question, because I got pregnant with twins.
Oh,
And
wow.
she was like, you can't breastfeed anymore
Yeah.
because all the things that your body does is it could put you into false contractions and all the things.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, god darn, and so
Yeah.
because my mind was like, yeah, we're gonna breastfeed this baby as long as we
I know.
can, give you all
Yeah.
the stuff,
And then you get pregnant.
and then you get pregnant. So
I understand.
wow. But for you, at least those first 2 times, he had I don't even want to say enough sense, whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't know
stopped
what it
him.
was that made him not abuse me during those first 2
That's
pregnancies.
wild.
He didn't, not physically, emotionally and mentally he did.
Of course.
As soon as I would get pregnant, he'd stop abusing me.
That's
But once I would have the baby,
it was right back on.
Yeah, we moved into a new house when I had my other little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I had her when my baby was when she was almost 2. She was almost 2. She was 20 months old. 20 months old when I had her. So I had 2 under 2, and then I had 3 other kids. So I had 5 kids. And we moved into another house, and he started back the abuse again. Right after I had my other little girl, he started back abusing me.
Who was also a cesarean section?
Yes. And then he made me get physical with him at 4 weeks also after having her. And I remember begging him because I was like, this hurts. I don't want to do this. He didn't give me a choice. We moved into a house, like I said, right before I had her. We moved into that house in February, and I had her in April. And it was a nicer house. It was a rental, but it was a nicer 2-story house in the country on some land we were renting. But he was off and on out of work, because then when we moved to that house, he started actually doing like drugs that I knew about. I found out about he was doing strong drugs.
There is so much happening right now.
Yeah.
In such a short amount of time.
I know.
And so many statistics. So back to the your baby's 5 days old and he pulls a gun on you. First of all, the statistics are that if there's a gun in a house, like the chances of you dying in a domestic violence situation increase astronomically, right?
Yeah.
And what you just said is one of the reasons why a lot of times, I think in general, they've already made up in their mind that if I say I'm going to kill you, I have the capability of killing you. Like, it's not like it's an empty threat, because they don't do empty threats. Like, they're legit. You got people out here that'll be like, I'll do such and such, and they're never going to do anything. But these people are legitimately, when those words come out their mouth, the only words that are lies are the ones that sound like I love you or any kind of like, that's not them. But anytime that hate comes out, they're legitimately and 100,000% serious about every single word.
Yeah.
It will happen. So I'm saying that because I think, one, that the reason is, if I'm going to threaten you, I have already made up in my mind at some point I could kill you, and I'm not thinking twice about it. The second thing is, he's doing that and he has the audacity to take the gun off safety. So any kind of accident can happen.
Yeah, he could have accidentally pulled the trigger, even not meaning to.
Even not meaning, because it doesn't take that much. It doesn't take that much weight to actually accidentally press it.
Exactly.
You got that. So you're getting those, and then you have the fear tactic. Like, you're living. People don't understand
that they don't.
That you're living, even when it's not actually, like, you emphasize this, and you're like, it wasn't physical yet. Even when it's not physical, the amount of, I imagine that our bodies internally respond to the trauma as if it's actually already happened.
Yeah, I think so too, because I remember after he pulled that gun on me, I would have nightmares that I was shot in the head, and I'd wake up in like a cold sweat, crying because I was dreaming about it. And then I remember, I think my daughter was 5 weeks old the first time he slapped me in the face. My great grandma had died, and she didn't go to the church. And I begged him to let me go to the funeral. I was like, look, she never got to meet her. I really just want to go to the funeral and see my family. And I sat on the couch, and I remember begging him to let me go. And he said, you're not going to that funeral. And he reared back, and he just slapped me in the mouth. That was the first time he busted my lip. And I was like, you just slapped me. And he was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I won't never do it again. I love you. I promise I'll never do it again. Yeah.
It's a joke.
And I believed him. I believed, okay, it was just this one time. He pulled the gun on me, and then 5 weeks later, he slapped me in the face, busted my lip, but he'll never do it again. He didn't mean to, because he loves me. That's what I thought. Or that's what I told myself, I guess.
And you were introduced into this in such a strange, unique way.
Yeah.
It doesn't, well, I ain't gonna say that, because it clearly applies to a lot of people, because there are a lot of people in cults, and there are a lot of people who have experienced this.
Yeah.
But for the majority of society who doesn't understand that, from the other side of you getting into this situation, I don't care how long you've been in a relationship with someone and they haven't physically hurt you. The first time they do it will never be the last time, unless the first time they do it, you leave, or the first time they do it, you die. It's not going to be the last time.
They're going to apologize, say they're sorry, they didn't mean to do it, they love you, and then they're going to go right back to doing it again, apologize again. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. And you think, oh, they're apologizing, they don't mean it. He didn't mean to do it, because that's what he would say. And then he'd do it again. He'd like, but you make me so mad. I've got to do something. So that's what he would do. Yeah.
I make you so mad that you've got to do something, and this is what you decide the got to do is.
Take it out on me. Because I wanted to see my mama, and then I wanted to go to my great grandma's funeral. Yeah.
And you're just living in fear the whole time. You're living in fear to even ask for anything that you shouldn't even have to ask for.
I remember being scared to ask for diapers for the baby. Because one time we were in line at Crystal's. He was going to treat us to Crystal's that night for supper. And I was like, we've got to go get diapers. The baby's not going to have any diapers. And he slapped me in the line in Crystal's. And I still think to this day that lady might have saw it. She never reported it. But I just remember looking in the rearview mirror after he slapped me and seeing her looking up. So I always think, did she see it? And she just didn't report it. I don't know. I still don't know. But I remember him slapping me in the Crystals, and then he still didn't get diapers. So my baby had to go without diapers that night. She had to. I remember I put on a pair of her sister's panties. Her sister was like 7 or 8. And I just put like a pad in there. And I remember using that as a makeshift diaper since he wouldn't go buy diapers. He did go buy them the next day, but he made me go that whole night without diapers for my child. All because he didn't want to go get them. It was because I was asking him to go get diapers. And he slapped me and told me, he used to call me very ugly words, cussing me and stuff. And then when my other baby was born, she was born when my oldest daughter was 20 months old. And he started abusing me after she was born. And it didn't just stop at abuse. He started doing the drugs. And he started taking pills. I still to this day don't know what kind of pills he was taking. And one night I remember, I think when my youngest little girl was a year old, and my oldest little girl was like 2, and then the other 3 kids, they all 5 went to stay with my parents. And he took a pill, and then he tried to give me a pill, and he said, take it. And I said, I'm not taking this. I'm not taking pills. I don't know what this is. I'm not taking it. He said, you're going to take it, or I'm going to force it down your throat. And we went on like that for an hour, and I cried and I begged, I don't want to take this pill. And I locked myself in the bathroom. He tried to beat the door down. He was threatening me with a gun again. So I came out of the bathroom. He said, you're going to take this pill. You're going to take it whether you want to or not. And he forced me to take it because I was scared for my life. And I don't know what kind of pill it was to this day, but I remember it kept me up for 3 days straight. I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't tell my family. I still don't know what it was. It might have been like a pill for hyperactivity or something. I don't know. It caused an adverse effect on me. And he forced me to take it. I did not want to take that pill. So he basically drugged me. And that was the start of it. The start of the very bad abuse. It got really worse. There would be nights he would take my keys. If my kids were staying the night with my parents, sometimes they'd stay the night there on a weekend. He'd take my keys. He'd take my phone. And if he was high on drugs, because he started using drugs, he would go hide in the woods for like a night or 2, high on the drugs, thinking people were chasing him. And then I'd have to run and hide in the woods from him when he was so high, because he'd be chasing me with AR-15, screaming my name with the AR-15 out the side of the car. Rachel, I know you're out there. I know you're out there. And I'd be hiding in the woods to keep from him shooting me with an AR-15. That happened many a nights. And I had no phone. I had no keys. I couldn't call anybody. I couldn't leave. We lived out in the country. I had to stay hidden in the woods for hours sometimes until he would calm down enough to let me come home. And then he'd calm down. Either he'd leave and go off. I don't know where he would go, but he would leave. And then I would be able to come back to the house and go to sleep. And sometimes he would stay gone for 2 or 3 nights. And I would call the police. I called the police. I did get brave and called the police one time. But one of the guys in the cult was a sheriff's deputy, and he was good friends with the pastor. So the police never done nothing. They came out there and took my report, and they never done a thing to him. Nothing. Didn't do a thing. And I tried telling the pastor, look, I'm being abused. Because the first time he blacked my eye, he punched me in the eye, and it blacked my eye. And I remember we had like a ladies' Christmas party. And I went, and everybody's like, why is your eye black? Well, he made me tell them all that I tripped over the root of a tree, and I hit the root. My mama never believed it. She's like, that's not what happened. And I remember my mom being really upset because she felt like I was lying to her, but I couldn't tell her the truth, and I couldn't tell the ladies at the church the truth. And the few times I tried telling the pastor what he was doing to me, the pastor would say I was lying, I was making it up. And he would refuse to let anything be done about it. He said, you got to stay. You're married. You got to listen to him. And I remember, like, I think 3 times I would leave off and on in between that time, and I'd go stay the night with my parents. And then he begged me to come back, and I'd come back. And then the pastor said, you got to go back. You got to go back. You have to stay. You're married to him. You have to go back. I remember that. And then when my youngest daughter was, I want to say about a year and a half old, I got pregnant again. And I was about 6 weeks pregnant. No, I'm sorry. I was about 12 weeks pregnant, I think, 12 weeks pregnant. And he was abusing me during this pregnancy. He started abusing me. And I remember I started cramping, and he had been abusing me off and on. He was working in Louisiana at that time. So I'd have a few days he wouldn't be there, which were like heaven to me. That was like heaven.
Oh my goodness. What?
I could talk to my mom. I could talk to my mom. I had peace when he was gone working
Yes.
in Louisiana. He was doing pipe fitting. I remember that. And I was pregnant, and then he would abuse me. And then he left for Louisiana one of the nights after, like 3 o'clock in the morning, after he had been abused me. I
Like,
remember
what
what it
was
was.
he doing? Like,
He had
so.
bought steroids. He had bought them offline. And I found them and I threw them out over the barbed wire fence in our yard. And he come and woke me up and said, "You're going to go get my stuff." And I'm like, "No, I'm not getting it. You don't need that stuff." Well, he forced me out by my hair and dragged me out into the yard in the cold and forced me to go get his steroids for him and give them back to him. He made me climb that barbed wire fence while he was screaming, telling me he was going to end my life if I didn't give him his steroids. So he got his steroids and he left for Louisiana.
Let's pause for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's so many things, but the thing that's in the forefront of my mind right now is the fact that you guys moved, and your words, it was a nicer house, it was bigger, it was beautiful, it was on a lot of land. And me knowing what I know now is he set that up on purpose.
Yep.
Most normal relationships, you want that. You want a bigger house. You want a lot of land. But in his case, it was like, now she can scream and nobody's coming.
Nobody can hear. There was nobody that could hear me for, I don't even know how far. Like the neighbors was through the woods. So it was the perfect, that house, I went through literal hell in that house. That's where the worst things happened to me, in that house, where nobody could hear me. Nothing but woods around. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The level of isolation that you're at this point is beyond me.
Yeah.
Because you're in a cult who's isolating you from your family, who's outside the cult, and partnering with your husband to isolate you from your family who's inside the cult. Then your husband goes to the extreme of taking you out to the woods to where any and everything can happen to you. And it doesn't matter if you scream.
Nobody's going to hear me.
It doesn't even matter if
you made that comment one time. Nobody can hear you.
Nobody.
He made that comment.
Because he knew.
He knew. Yeah, he knew. And he knew the church wasn't going to help me, because he knew I told the pastor. The pastor said, "You got to deal with it. You're married to him. You've got to obey him." He knew I couldn't call the police. The police, one of the officers, went to the church. He wouldn't do nothing about it.
Even if they didn't, though, by the time the police, like if you would have called somebody during a heated, abusive moment, by the time they would have got to you, it wouldn't even
have been
matter.
too late. He had so many big, like, army style guns, like AR-15s, SKS, AK-47s. He collected guns at that point. He had so many of them. He knew I was scared. So I stayed home and I cooked every single night, and I cleaned, and I obeyed every one of his rules and every one of the pastor's rules. I always obeyed. Always. I was sweet, quiet, and obedient. That's what I done.
Still got abused. So for anyone who's not in this extreme situation, just understand, because my situation wasn't that extreme. However, the commonality between what I experienced and what you just said is this: you were sweet, quiet, and you always obeyed. You're never going to be able to do anything right enough to avoid being abused.
Yep. Never. Nope.
And when you're in it, you're constantly battling that, because you're like, well, what else can I do? There's got to be something else that I can do that's going to stop this. Like, you really wholeheartedly believe and think that, okay, there's something else that I can fix. And there's nothing.
I always thought there was something wrong with me,
There's nothing for you to fix in the first place.
And I remember when I started studying about domestic violence, I was still married to him. And I had just had my second baby, my daughter. And it was a night he was abusing me. I don't even remember what caused it. It was during the summer, because his kids were at their mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was going to sleep on the couch because when the babies would cry, he didn't want me to be in the bedroom because he didn't want them waking him up. So I'd have to sleep on the couch with the babies. Do you understand that? Like how it was?
Oh my gosh. Listen, but in my case, I didn't sleep
Uh-huh.
on the couch. He left and went to a different room. And in my
So
brain, I was
basically the
like,
same.
yes. I was
Yeah.
like, can't what you know, with the twins,
Mm-hmm.
because
I
we
like that.
we didn't have we were in a rental, which was a small house, but it was a
Mm-hmm.
4-bedroom house. One of the bedrooms was ours. One of the bedrooms was the office. One
Mm-hmm.
bedroom was the boy, Jacob's, his. And then the other bedroom was shared by his other 2 kids when they would come over for the weekends to spend the night.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So the girls had nowhere to go. And I've never told anybody this before, but when my babies were born, he
Mm-hmm.
made me put them in we had a it's not even a walk-in closet. It's you go into the bathroom and then you go into, like, the closet was a decent size, but it's still like a
Yeah.
closet. He
Mm-hmm.
made me have my baby sleep in there because he didn't want them to disrupt his sleep.
His sleep. I totally understand. I'm sorry about that. I
So I
promise.
would have to wake up in the middle of the night. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
allowed to turn the bathroom light on. I had to
Yep.
go in there in the dark and try to change their diapers and breastfeed them in the bathroom on the floor or in the closet on the floor, and then go back in there to get in the bed.
I'm so sorry.
I'm like, here's the crazy thing though. I was like, low key, if it was a healthy relationship,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have, and you had a real walk-in closet, I
Mm-hmm.
would love that setup because then I could put a chair in there. I
Yeah.
could go in
Like a
there and just
breastfeeding
have
room.
peace, and we could
Mm-hmm.
just, me and my babies, I'm gonna breastfeed you. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
take care of you. You can go back to sleep. So the little noises that they make during the night,
Yeah.
because when you're that recent from having the baby, like, you're
Mm-hmm.
waking up everything,
Everything.
and
Yeah.
you get no
Absolutely.
sleep. So
Mm-hmm.
having those doors in between them so that I could hear them. And then on
Yeah,
top of
that
that,
was
he
it.
would turn
Perfect.
the fan on in the bathroom so that if they did cry,
Mm-hmm.
it's drowning it out so that
Not
he
the
doesn't
same.
hear it, which means
Yeah.
I don't always hear it.
Yeah.
So now my babies are getting delayed on their feedings. They're getting
Mm-hmm.
delayed on, like, one night I remember I had changed their diapers, somebody's diaper. And then you already have drunk sleep anyways. Like, the amount
Yeah.
of times
And
you
I
gotta
can't
wake up.
imagine having two babies at one time. I never had that. That's a lot. That's hard.
It's a lot. I wake up, I do it, I go to bed, and then the next day he's like, "You put dirty wipes in the back in the wipe box. Like, there's boo boo wipes in the
Yeah.
wipes."
Oh
Because,
my
like,
God.
I'm delusional at this point,
Well,
and
have a
I'm doing
sleep
this in the
in
dark
the dark. Yeah.
because you don't even want the door shut with the light on. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, and like, when I tell you, when I moved out, I would be triggered when my dad would turn on the kitchen fan, the vent fan, because
Mhm.
he would turn on the bathroom fan in our room, he would turn on the vent fan in the kitchen and the bathroom fan in the hallway to drown out anybody, like my children's crying,
Wow.
which made it hard for me to hear.
Mhm.
And, like, I was triggered for that for a long time. Like,
Oh, that's so. I
my
can't
dad
imagine.
didn't even know. I never told him, but I hated it when he turned that fan on because I'm
Mhm.
like anxiety would just
Yeah.
flood my body.
Yeah.
So back to you. Yes, I can relate to how dare
Yeah.
you get me pregnant when I wasn't
Mhm.
prepared to be pregnant. I
Yeah.
give birth to your kids, and then you
Mhm.
have the audacity to tell me and your children we
Mhm.
got to be quiet so you can get some sleep when you're
Yeah.
not the one that's getting up to do anything to take care of them in the first place.
Yep. He didn't do a thing. He didn't help with the kids. He didn't cook. He didn't clean. Half the time, he didn't pay the bills. Sometimes we'd be in the dark. Sometimes we wouldn't have water.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious. And he wouldn't let me work. So I
And
had to
you
just
weren't
say,
allowed to work. I
nope,
wasn't either.
he wasn't either. Wow.
When I got pregnant, I had a job, and it was like, this is the longest job I'd ever had. Like, and
Mhm.
it's not that I got fired from jobs. I just would, like, after 2 years, I usually left a job. I would give them the peace
Uh-huh.
because I'm like, if I'm having nightmares about work, I don't even want to be here because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
interrupting my sleep. So I would
Uh-huh.
just leave
Exactly.
and go, and God would always make a way. I feel like I'm favored, and He would always make a way. I could get a job anytime I
Hmm.
wanted to. And this job I had the longest because it was so easy. It was something I got to. It was I was I was a fitness instructor for the city, and
Oh,
it
wow.
was easy, and I was able to be around people, and I was doing things that I went to school for doing. But when I got pregnant and then we moved in together, and he was like, you have to quit this job. Granted, this is right before COVID, so everything was going to shut down anyways.
Oh.
However, he forced me, and like my boss would still try to get me to go back, and he would like, my boss would say, you don't have to start working here, but just put in the application so your name stays in the system. And he wouldn't even let me do that because he did not want me to go back, like to have. And I see now it's like if I did
To
that,
fall back on. So
I
you
had something to
couldn't.
fall back on. I had a means of income that had nothing to do with him, like, and that would be a problem.
Yep. It
So
would be
yeah,
easy.
I couldn't work either, or I couldn't work, but then I had to work for his business that was trash. But I still had to work and do
Yeah.
the cooking, the cleaning,
Okay.
and living up to expectations that you would never live up to.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, this is outrageous. I'm like, this is outrageous. And all my brain is like, you want me to do all of this and take care of, like your other two kids and my babies,
Wow.
and do this, like study this stuff that you want, like diving into with your business and figuring out that, like, and I realized when I left, he was constantly trying to find ways for me to earn money and work, but he wasn't doing, like, he was like, we can start a cleaning business. Guess who's going to do the cleaning? Guess who had to do all the phone calls to see what all was needed for this business and do all the licensing to get us even up and running and get the name reserved and all that stuff. Yeah. And then you can just, you can go out and do this and this. Like, okay, we doing a personal training business. I'm the nutritionist, and I'm doing these calls with him. Then I'm taking all these people's prescriptions and all that. Like, I'm working and I'm not getting paid for it. And we're not making money.
Wow.
But yeah, girl, I understood.
So you understand.
I lived that. I lived the whole get out or y'all go somewhere else in this house so I can sleep. Even though you ain't waking up, you waking up to go drink. You're not even waking up to go.
Exactly. To take care of a baby or anything. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so outrageous. It's funny. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's funny, but it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. Yes. So you're there. You're having to go. You're having to go sleep on the sofa because y'all's babies are crying. Was he like, he didn't take care of the kids, but
No.
was he like really proud to have these children? Like, did he ever mention like legacy and his name?
It almost seemed like it made him feel special to have a lot of kids. I don't know why, because he didn't take care of them, but it made him feel like it was something special because he had all these children. Yeah.
Yep. Same. The same.
Wow.
Like and what I'm learning is that they get to put on a front for everyone else. Because I mean, even yes, your church leaders knew he was abusive. And people could probably see certain things, but you don't know if you don't really know,
Yeah.
And so now I can present myself to the world as this married being with these beautiful children who are going to bear my last name and keep my legacy going. That's the same thing. That's all he wanted. It's like, I learned when I left, I was like, you wanted access to kids. You wanted to be able to say, I have kids, but you don't want the responsibility that's required to take care of kids.
Exactly.
Trash.
Exactly. Yep.
Trash.
100%.
I knew it. Golly. Oh my gosh. So you're out there in the woods. Like, you don't even have anybody.
Nobody. And then when she was about, I want to say she was maybe a year and a half, I got pregnant again. And that was when he was abusing me and stuff during that pregnancy. Well, I ended up starting to miscarry one night. It was probably like 7 o'clock at night. I was supposed to be at church. And my oldest daughter was 2. Yeah, so she was almost 3. I think she was 3. And then my youngest daughter was 2. And my oldest daughter came into the bathroom because the other kids were at their mom's house. It was another time they were at her house. And it was for Christmas. I remember it was around Christmas time. Or around Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, around Thanksgiving, because it was November the 8th. And they had went over there for a couple of weeks, I think it was, because they were homeschooling at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they went to stay a few weeks during Thanksgiving break. And I started cramping and everything. And I went into the bathroom and like I had a miscarriage in the bathroom. I was like, I think 3 or 4 months pregnant. And I remember my 3-year-old cleaning me up because he was off working in
No.
Louisiana. She had to clean me up. She was crying. She didn't know what was going on. Well, I wrapped the baby in a towel and I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I think I need to go to the hospital. I've had a miscarriage. Well, my mom came and got me. We went to the hospital. They checked me all out and they was like, yeah, you had a miscarriage. Well, he came home from Louisiana that night. My mama called me and was like, you need to come home. Well, when he got to the hospital, he was high, like on drugs. So my mom's like, you're not going with him. I don't care what the pastor says. I don't care what anybody says. You're going with me. I went home with my mama that night. And I had wrapped the baby, the little tiny baby, up in a towel, and I put it on a shelf in the closet. And me and my mom was gonna get it. We were gonna bury it on the land that next day. And when I went there to get it, he threw the baby and the towel away just to hurt me. So I could not bury it. Threw the whole baby away, everything away. And that was one of the worst days of my life when I went to go bury my little baby. And I had a little sonogram video, like a little sonogram CD with the pictures on it. He threw that away too. So I never got to look at the baby again. And that was like one of the worst nights of my life when he threw my actual baby and the towel away just so I couldn't bury it. And he said, like, when I finally got in touch with him, he done it just to hurt me. And so we stayed married after that. I had left. I left for about 3 weeks. And then I went and stayed with my parents. I took his kids and mine. Well, he told me that if I didn't go back to him, he was not going to ever let me see his kids again. And he was going to keep them from me. And I felt so bad for the kids that I went back to him. And we moved again. We moved into another house. We bought a house that needed a lot of work. It was only like 2 rooms that were livable at the time. Well, I went back to him in March. And we had bought that house, I think, I went back to him and then we bought the house somewhere around the same time. I think it was somewhere around March. Well, I got pregnant again. And when I was 10 weeks pregnant with my 4th baby, I had the 2 girls, one had died, and then I had my 4th that I was pregnant with. We had $1,000 in the bank, and he had saved some money, and we needed to fix the house because we had just bought this house. And instead of fixing the house, he wanted to go buy a boat for $1,000. And I was like, please don't go buy that boat. I'm pregnant again. We have 5, well, we have 1, 2, 3, 5 kids. And then I was pregnant again. And I was like, we can't afford a boat. Well, instead of listening to me, he choked me. He grabbed me by the throat and he's choked me before in all these times when he was abusing me. He would choke me till I would almost pass out. He'd slap me. He'd bust my lip, black my eye. But this day I was pregnant and he choked me. And I was like, because I had already lost one baby a couple of months before. And I said, I'm not losing another baby. So I called my uncle who lived right down the road. And I had never left and stayed gone. I always went back. And my uncle, I didn't call my uncle. I'm sorry. I texted my uncle. And he saw me in the backyard with my phone. And I knew he was running back there to take my phone. So all I could text my uncle was something to the effect of, come help, I'm hurting, or something like that. And my uncle lived right down the road and he come flying down there. Literally 5 minutes later, he loaded me up, my stepchildren up, and what clothes we could grab and took us to his house. And that was the last day I was with him. That was May the 13th of 2015.
How old were you at this point? 24, maybe 25.
Maybe 25. And I was pregnant, 10 weeks pregnant with my baby, my oldest son now. And I left him and I took him to court. I remember I filed a restraining order on him. And the ladies at the place where you filed that, they believed me. I could tell they really did. The pastor was not happy with me. I was in lots of trouble with the church for leaving him, but I refused to go back. I refused. I stayed at the church, but I refused to go back to him because I was like, I've been through so much abuse and everything. I've lost one baby. I'm not losing this baby. And I got in trouble with the church. I got my name called out over the pulpit. And, they told him I left my husband and all kinds of stuff. And I left him that night, and I never went back. He did end up taking his kids from me. He called the law and had them come pick the kids up because they were his, you know. He took his kids, and I couldn't get a divorce. The church wouldn't let me divorce him. They refused to allow a divorce. They said, you have to stay married to him and pray that he comes back, but you have to stay married and you have to stay single. And so I went through that whole pregnancy living with my mom, still stayed married, never divorced him because they didn't believe in divorce. And I stayed with my mom. She was there with me through my whole pregnancy. I had the baby. She was in the delivery room with me in the C-section room. And then when the baby was like 14 months old, I met a guy at a restaurant. He was a waiter, and I invited him to church with me. And he came with me that next Sunday. And he went to a couple of services with me. But the first service he came there, the pastor was like, it's good to have you here, even though you're a wetback. He was Mexican. And they're very extremely racist. Yeah.
I'm done, Rachel.
Yeah. So he came with me.
In
church, in front of everybody. Yes. So he came for another month or so, and his family visited a few times. But they noticed how cultish it was. And he told me, he's like, this is a cult, Rachel. And they started accusing me of dating him. I wasn't dating him. We were just friends because I was still legally married. And I couldn't get divorced. They wouldn't let me. It'd been 2 years now since we had seen my children's birth father. My son had never seen him. Went through my pregnancy alone and everything. And then it was in...
So wait. So he wasn't going to the church anymore?
No, he left. That day that I left him, when he choked me, and he left the house that day when my uncle came and got me, he never came back to church. He left, completely left Brookhaven. He went back to the coast. He only showed up for court, for the restraining order. He showed up to one court, one meeting we had at the court with the courts. He showed up to one, and he never showed up to any more. So they gave me a restraining order for him.
They granted everything because he wasn't present.
I think it lasted for a few months. And I don't remember how long it lasted at that time. But yeah, I had met that guy, the waiter, when my baby was 14 months old. And he was like, he came with me those few services. He came with me for, I want to say, a month, because it was like, I met him in February, and he didn't come to church with me till that June. And then in July, he was like, Rachel, this is a cult. And I was like, you know what? I think you're right. It's like something clicked in my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is an actual cult. So he got me and my children, my 3 kids, and moved us in with him and his mom and dad. And we all lived with him. And the people from the church would come stalk his yard because they had visited. His family had visited. And when you visit, you fill out a paper that says your name, your phone number, and your address. So that's how they got his address. They would come at the end of the driveway and sit and park there and watch us. I've had to call the police on them for numerous times of stalking me. That church did. Well, finally, I ended up getting pregnant with my 4th living baby, even though I was still legally married. We had not been together 2 years. And then I went and filed divorce because I said, I'm not going back to this church anymore, so I'm getting a divorce. And that was when I left the cult. When right before I got pregnant with my 4th baby. So I left the cult right before then. He helped me leave the cult. I moved in with his family, and that's when I left that cult. And then I went to court a couple of months later. I don't remember exactly how much after that it was. I went to court, and I got the divorce, and I got full custody of my children. I told my whole entire story in front of the courthouse. That was the first time I ever told this story after I had left the church. And he didn't even show up to court. They ruled in my favor and gave me full custody of my children without any visitation for him, without any rights. And they have not seen him in 11 years, and neither have I. I have full custody of my children. He contacted me about 2 months ago, and he wanted to see the kids. He said he was in rehab. And I said, no, you're not seeing the kids. And he's contacted me a few times after that. I don't know where he is now. I don't know if he's in rehab or if he's I don't know where he is. He's been off of drugs these whole 11 years. Never seen our oldest son, and has not seen our kid, my kids. I call them my kids. They're not his.
Right.
He's not seen them in 11, almost 12 years. And I have full custody. Now, me and the guy that I left with, we did get married when our baby was 9 months old, and we stayed married for like 3 years. But we ended up divorcing, and I think it was because I didn't know how to be in a relationship because
Wow.
I, all I knew was abuse and everything, and he didn't abuse me or anything like that. But I ended up leaving him, and I'm single.
Hold
But
on.
we
Okay,
both
hold
doing
on, hold
really
on, hold
good.
on.
Uh-huh.
Because you didn't know how to be in a healthy relationship. You haven't
No,
actually seen,
I
the
have
only time you did see was the few years,
with my that I live with my
5 years
Yeah, about
that
5
you
years.
live with your mom and your stepdad,
Well,
which
8 years.
isn't,
I want to say 8 years. Yeah, because I was 19 when
yeah,
I
because
left.
you were 19. You were
Yeah.
19. So you left him.
I did, which he
Why?
did. He was an alcoholic. I can say that
Oh,
he was an alcoholic. He didn't abuse me, but he was an
mhm.
alcoholic, and he spent all the money on alcohol. So
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not doing this again. But
yeah,
he wasn't abusive, and
yeah.
he's not an alcoholic no more. He's been sober for 3 years now. When I left, he
Congratulations.
got sober, and he sees our son every weekend. He gets him every weekend, and we
Hmm.
co-parent great. He even helps with my other kids, and
Amazing.
we're friends. We're friends. And then my abuser,
Wow.
I haven't seen him in 11 years. I haven't seen him since that court date. The last time we went to court 11 years ago. And he has no power over me. I've had to go to therapy in between these years. I've had to do lots of therapy, lots of therapy.
Absolutely.
I do sometimes have to take anxiety medicine. I'm not going to lie. I do take that as needed. And
Hmm.
I've had to go to lots of therapy. And I still love Jesus, live for Jesus, but I'm not in a cult. I'm free from that. I'm free from
Hmm.
abusive marriage. And I'm trying to teach my daughters to be strong, independent women and not ever let a man put his hands on them. It's been hard, and I still have days where I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to make it, but I'm doing good. I have a good job. I work with dementia patients, and I love it. I'm an aide in an assisted living home.
Hmm.
And I take care of I have custody of all four of my kids. We're doing good. I have nights that I get lonely sometimes, but
Hmm.
I've I haven't dated in a year and a half. I've been single, and I've
Yeah.
just been focusing on my career and my children and getting close to God. So yeah, it took a lot for me to get to where I am now. A lot of abuse, a lot of bad things, you know, and it's been a long journey.
A long journey.
Yeah, long
A
journey.
long
It's
journey.
been a long 16 years. And there's bits and pieces I don't even remember of my life. It seems like I
Hmm.
don't remember what happened. I think it was trauma, like
Yeah.
trauma brain or something.
Yep. Like your
I,
brain
hmm
has gone through so much
Yep.
that it could be trying to protect yourself from,
Yeah.
like, I get
From
it. I
yep.
get it.
Yeah. And I feel like that in about a lot of things. I do.
Let me say, one, kudos to you for caring so much for your child that you was like, I'm out.
Hmm
Because
Yep.
all of us don't do that.
Yeah.
Me included. Like, I was abused during both pregnancies. And I'm talking
Um,
about like slammed to the floor. And I'm like,
mhm.
you, like, my dad asked, because my
Mhm.
son would cry a lot. And my dad was like, were you under duress when you was pregnant? I just laughed. I was like, he
Yeah.
doesn't know everything.
Doesn't.
I'm like, if you only knew. I said, yeah, I
Mhm.
was under duress. And
And the baby
so
can feel that in the womb.
they felt, and I hated
Mhm.
like all of the crying,
Yeah.
all of the anxiety that my body felt.
Yeah.
He would
They
feel
felt
it.
it.
They would feel it. And I just hate that I didn't leave earlier like you, which is amazing. You was like, no, we're not even risking this one.
Yeah.
And perhaps if I had suffered the loss that you had suffered, maybe I would have made a decision faster to leave. But it is what it is, right? I
Exactly. You left. That's all that matters.
I left.
That's all that matters.
And like there's just so much. I have to bring this back up
Hmm
because they know exactly what what's the word I want to say? Card. They know exactly which card to play to bring you back. So in a lot of situations, a lot of people go back to the person who's abusing them because they fear that they're going to do something to harm themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they'll call and say, I don't want to live anymore, blah, 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 blah. If you don't come back home, I'm going to kill myself. And they know, because they've manipulated you so much, they know that that's going to work.
And he tried that right after I left. And he tried that. He called and said, I'm going to kill myself. And I said, I can't do that.
Like, I can't help you.
Yeah, I was done. Like, when I got done, I was done.
Yeah, I mean, but if you think about it,
I haven't let a man hit on me since then. Actually, they're like, you're kind of tough because, like, you won't give us a chance. I'm like, sure, I'm not going to give you a chance.
Yeah, I've seen enough that I need to see for me to know I ain't trying to even see what that's going to turn into.
I'm happy.
Yes.
And I got this tattoo. I don't know if you can really see it.
Well, you got to slide back. Yeah.
The semicolon project, because there were times when I didn't know if I was going to make it, but that's the semicolon project. And it's about surviving and living when you didn't think that you would see another day. So I got that tattoo, and it's a reminder for me that I made it.
Wow. God is good.
Yeah.
God is good. Girl, because, but first, one, what I just said, before I let that go, anyone who's listening right now, if at any point the person who's abusing you calls you and says that they're going to harm themselves, it is not your responsibility to go over there and save them. If you love and care for them enough, or think you do, because that's what we're so brainwashed into believing that we really love and care for this person. All you got to do is call 911 and say, hey, I need you to do a wellness check on so-and-so there at this address. And that's it. And I promise you, when the police show up, that whole tune that they're singing is going to change.
Don't shut it down.
It's going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for him to know how much you cared about his kids.
Yeah. And he used them as leverage to get me to come back.
Get you to come back.
But now I've talked to his kids since all this has happened. Their mama got custody of them when I left him, and she's had them ever since. And they're grown now. They got kids of their own. But and they thanked me. They was like, you done the best you could. And they actually, all three of them sent me a message within the past couple of years, and they was like, I want to thank you because you done the best with the situation you had. And
did they see the abuse?
Yes. Yeah, they've seen me be abused. Yeah. I'm proud of them. They've all three turned out to be really good adults. They moved away from here. I haven't seen them in a few years, but I talk to them every week, basically. Yeah. We're friends on Facebook, so I'm always seeing stuff. I don't get to see them or nothing or talk to them on the phone, but I do message them every once in a while, and I see their stuff on Facebook, and my kids talk to them, so they're doing good.
Wow, that's a blessing, because they've been through a lot of trauma.
I said, y'all are survivors. Never forget that.
God. But my sis said, I'm going to tell you, when you told me he called you and he was like, I'm not going to let you see my kids again if you don't come back. My healthy, healed brain was like, respectfully, F your kids, because
exactly, because the me now would have been the same way, like nope, oh well, I can't help it, I'm praying for him.
I got to take care of me and mine. You did this.
And I think that's now, because I don't put up with anything. Like the first little thing, and I don't like, I'm like blocking them. I'm blocking. And they all say, I'm like, this is bye. Peace out.
I want no parts.
Nope, none of it. I like protecting my peace, and I will never let a man make me feel less than what I am.
Amen. Because you can have your kids. I'm tired of taking care of them anyways. I'm exhausted, as a matter of fact.
You're going to have to take your kids.
And the crazy thing is, he knew that would get you, because if you were to dare to be like, come get them, he would. Because he wouldn't he couldn't imagine having to manage those babies by himself.
And he did. They went right back to their mama. Yeah. And they had told me when we separated, when he came back and got him, when I took him with me and then he called police and got him, they said he abused them after that too. All different ways. I don't want to say because it's not my
story.
But yeah, he abused them.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he'll never see my children again. I got full custody and I'm a survivor. I don't like to say I'm a victim anymore. I used to, but I'm a survivor. I'm not a victim of nothing. I survived all that so I could help other people.
Talk.
That's what I tell myself. I wake up every day knowing I'm a survivor and I survived. And if I can survive all of that, then other people can too.
Say that again, Rachel. Please say it again.
Survive everything that I went through. Then whoever is listening, whatever you're going through, just know that you can make it out on the other side.
Because you didn't even scratch the surface.
There was
what you went through.
Talking about that call and everything that happened, it would probably take me 24 hours to tell it all or more. Like I could write a book or have a movie about it.
Yep.
About everything that happened between the spiritual abuse, the physical, the emotional, the mental, everything.
All of it.
All of it.
Oh my gosh. Well, Rachel, the only thing I can say is, one, you already said it, you're a survivor. Two, I am so beyond words proud of you.
Thank you.
I am privileged to be alive, to sit here, to have this conversation with your aliveness. I know that ain't a word, but
conversation with you. Thank you.
It is, girl, it's an honor. It's an honor because you are doing exactly what this podcast is for, shining a light on the vast depths of abuse in different relationships. Like now there's somebody, I think the previous episode was a little cultish, but like having these opportunities and then it's a testimony on so many levels, right? Because God has a bigger plan for your life. You're still here. The enemy tried to stop it and didn't succeed. Then it's a testimony on you went through all of that under the false pretenses of someone having the audacity to throw God's name on their foolishness. And you still believe in God and Jesus, and you still live for the Lord, and you still seek a relationship with him. Like there's so many layers. You are living, walking proof of Romans 8:28. All things work together for the good, and no weapon formed against you will prosper. Like you're living, walking proof of that, because you could easily be like, you could easily be church hurt.
Yeah.
And there are so many people walking around that are church hurt because they lost sight of, one, maybe they didn't have that connection, that relationship, their personal, but they lost sight of who God's character is.
I know lots went through what I went through in the same cult, and a lot of them to this day will not go to church. They will. They really, I feel like they still love God, but they don't really have like a relationship with him. I feel like they're scared,
Yeah.
And I've been able to help some, like even some that have left that's still in my city. I've been able to talk to them.
That's amazing.
That's what I hope to be able to do. Just help other people and let them know that they can come out on the other side of this, and it's not too late. It's not over.
It's not. It's not.
I don't think like I still have a purpose because I'm still here. There's something that I do,
a lot of things that you're already doing, and so much more that you are created for. I don't blame anyone who, I don't blame you or judge you for being church hurt, because we all have to find our way. My relationship was strained with God for a while when I lost my mom, but we all have to find a way back, and hopefully we can, before our time here is up. But like, I love so much that you said, I'm still seeking Jesus. I still have a relationship. I'm still doing all these things because, like, if you can, like, we don't even know the half of it, and you're still here saying, to God be the glory, because look what my God can do.
Exactly.
When the enemy thought he had me, look what my God can do.
Yep.
Girl.
Yep.
Ooh, Listen, I should have told y'all to keep everything inside the vehicle. Get your shin guards, toe guards. I wasn't prepared. Matter of fact, just go get a whole bubble. You need a whole one of them bubble suits.
Right.
Rachel, sis, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for continuing to show up. Thank you for continuing to shine your light. Thank you for continuing to share your love and show God's love through you. Like, to be able to be a vessel of God's love is what being a child of God is all about. And to know that you've experienced too, like the spiritual abuse, like someone using the Bible and using God to control and manipulate, that is not God. For anybody who's listening, if you've been in that situation, it's not God. God never used it.
And thank you for what you're doing for ladies. Thank you. You're a blessing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I went to some of your videos, some of your speeches and stuff, and I was like, this lady is amazing.
Oh my
God. Thank you. I've never talked to anyone like this before. You're the first one. So
wow. Well, thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to hear your experience so that we can collectively, because that's what this is all about, collectively help other people understand what happens, help other people who are in it know this is not the end. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be your end. Because I mean, you had every reason to be afraid to leave. I was like, I'm sitting here as you're talking and I'm watching all of this in my mind break down from you going to being held up against the wall with a hand around your neck to running to a fence that's got barbed wire on it to trying to text, and the only thing you can text is help come quick, like 3 words, because you know he's coming. You don't know, even though your uncle's 5 minutes away, it don't take 2 seconds to end a life.
Nope, it don't.
And I'm like, you got like this, like the suspense music is building right here in the movie that I'm watching as you're telling me all of this. And like the energy in my body is like, oh my gosh, even though I'm sitting here watching you like alive here today, I'm like, oh my gosh, does she make like, so to know that you went through that, you made the decision, like it's going to be my life or it's going to be my baby's life, and it's not going to be my baby's life if I can help it. Because your uncle could have pulled up, and you know how crazy Harpo was. He could have easily just sprayed the truck.
Yeah, took my uncle and everybody else out. Mm-hmm.
And I say that not to scare people. That's the hardest decision you have to make when you're in an abusive relationship, is the decision to actually go.
And I always say my uncle is like, he's like my Superman or whatever, because he came and he didn't care. He was coming to get me. He's not here to me. So he's like a brother to me. Mm-hmm. And super close, and he didn't want nobody hurt me. And he came, and he wasn't part of the cult. We didn't even have a relationship, really. We couldn't. But he came, and when I texted him, he came straight there.
He was there, no questions asked.
Yes, ever since.
That's amazing. To anyone who is in a situation right now, and you had the opportunity to watch this episode, understand that we're not gonna sugarcoat anything. It doesn't end this way all the time. It does not end this way all the time. You have an opportunity to get out. And a lot of times it's important and imperative that you make a plan. Everybody's exit can't look like Rachel's exit, because people will snap, and they don't care who they take with them. Like, they have no concern. I say that to say there is always a way out, but be smart about it. If you're under high threats, get a plan together. Be smart and get a plan together and figure it out once you get out. But start making the plan to get out, because you can. It is, I promise, it's not the end. It doesn't have to be the end for you. And the longer you stay, the closer you get to the end of your life. That's really all it is. Like, I see so many, I guess too, because of this podcast now, I see so much stuff on my news feed about like people losing their women losing their lives to boyfriends, not even their husband, but to boyfriends for a short period of time, long period of time. And it's just, I'm so grateful because I know that could have been me. I know that every Christmas, my family could be going to my grave instead of us having Christmas parties or exchanging gifts. I know that. I just don't want it to be anybody else. I don't want it to be anybody else. But girl, I'm so thankful for you, girl. I'm so thankful. I love you. You know we're going to stay in touch.
We are. Yes.
Y'all, just look, go take a chill pill. No pills, just take a chill. Just go stick your head in the freezer or something. Cool off. It's going to be all right. She survived. She's here. She's alive. Y'all know what it is. It has been another amazing episode of the Can't Be Broken podcast. In the meantime, in between time, I thank y'all for hanging in there. I thank y'all for just, just being here. Share this out to whoever you can think of who might need this. A lot of people need this who aren't even in situations, but can see signs and flags about cults, can see signs and flags about, know that, just because you're married doesn't mean it's not rape. Like so many things, can see signs about whether or not someone is on drugs, who said they used to be on drugs. Like so much in this episode can help so many people. And I pray that y'all just share this out and get it out there so that the people who are questioning whether or not let me just say this. If you question whether or not it's right or wrong, it's wrong. Like if you got to ask this question, it ain't right for you. It could be right for somebody else, but it's not right for you. Anyways, I ain't gonna hold y'all no more. Rachel, I love you to life. I love you to pieces back together again. Y'all, in the meantime, in between time, we gone.